Hi Siri, I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Matthews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Matthews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. Wednesday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out, International Diamond Center. Gators are your official SEC champions after demolishing Mississippi State last night. Baseball won. Got a lot to talk about today. We'll have JC, we'll have Scott Carter. He'll tell us if the Gators are going to win the national title after day one of spring ball. JC, you're on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. What's up?
I mean, yeah, bet against Florida. See how that gets you. Right now, the Gators.
I was talking about spring football, JC.
Well, I got you. Okay. Spring football. You actually follow spring football, QB?
No, you weren't listening. I said Scott Carter will join us and tell us how the Gators are going to be the national champs after day one of spring football.
Well, I'm glad Scott's paying attention to that because we need somebody to. You and I are in the middle of basketball, and last night Florida was a 22.5-point favorite and won by plenty. And, this was kind of expected. I didn't see why it really mattered if Thomas Hawk played or not. Mississippi State is one of the four worst teams in the conference and really had no idea of winning that game. Florida just kind of went through the motions in the first half, and then in the second half decided to finish it like they usually have done here in the last 2 weeks. It seems like the second half of basketball games for Florida has gone very, very well. And so, you look around the world and you see who are all these other teams. And honestly, QB, I think they've got a lot of good basketball teams. The tournament's going to be fun, but in reality, I think there's 5 teams that can win it. And of those 5, there will probably be 8 teams that'll probably be, some good value to pick to win it. But truthfully, I think we're going to see very similar things to what we saw last year when it comes to the top seeds being the teams that end up at the end of this tournament still alive. There's just no, unless Duke really, unless they catch some staph infections and some, God forbid, some awful viruses in the locker room, something awful happens. Duke, Connecticut, Arizona, Michigan, Florida. Okay, so you have Purdue, you have Michigan State, you have some of these other schools. I think Cincinnati's playing great basketball right now, but I mean, realistically, are they going to beat these other teams I just mentioned? I don't think the answer is yes. So I think it's no. I think you've got a tournament that's going to set up with about 9 or 10 SEC teams in there. And really, it's basically how far does Florida want to go? Kentucky showed us what they're truly all about last night. Texas A&M got a huge win. That helps them get in. But everybody's playing for the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 because, honestly, the Final Four to me is going to be 4 of those 5 teams I just mentioned. That's it. I'm just going to tell you right now. UConn, which I don't think – listen, if you want to tell me who's got the better odds of being the 4th 1 seed, is it UConn or Florida? Okay, sure. 3 months ago, UConn beat Florida. 3 months ago doesn't matter today. All games do matter, but this is basketball, not football. And honestly, the Big Ten or the Big East is a trash conference. It's not that good. The SEC is going to bring 9 or 10 teams to the tournament. The Big East just doesn't have the competitiveness of the SEC. So I would give the edge to Florida, and I'm being actually unbiased in that. I think most people agree with it. Florida should be the 4th 1 seed. But whatever happens, it doesn't matter. They're still going to be high. So
what happened to everybody's argument about head-to-head, JC?
Well, like I said, 3 months ago, I don't care. I mean,
QB, is that the same as when, Notre Dame beat Miami at the beginning of the football season?
Nope, it's not, because you have because you only played 12 games in football. You played what do you play? 35 in basketball? Oh.
Okay, I was just curious.
Maybe it should be the same. And so go ahead, put Florida 2, make UConn 1.
Well, I think a lot of people want Florida to be the 2 seed so they go to Tampa.
Is that how they would get there?
I believe so.
Well, then let's go the number 2 route then. I think Gator fans would love it not to
Like
have to price them.
Chris says here on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, it would be better for UF to be the 2 seed in the South, so we play in
Okay.
Tampa and draw the worst number 1 seed.
Okay. Well, however you want to do it, folks. It's clear to me that if you're not at least reserving one of those, do you want to pay now or pay later hotels deals online? Hit the pay later and get into Indianapolis right now if you have interest in following this team, because pay now means you gotta, pay them now. Pay later means if they lose, you can cancel it, and all's well. Of course, if you cancel it, you'll get your money back too. But I always like to pay later, QB. I like to pay when I get there.
You know, okay.
So get the hotel room now is the point. Get it now.
It's still what what. I think I've said it multiple times in this pro. Ty Golden's a ridiculously good coach. When you watch us play, how many points do we score in the restricted area? Do you know what that is, JC? That's where that
little circle.
Circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get layups, lobs,
Yeah.
jump hooks, or we shoot threes. But we get so many easy baskets because of the style of play and the scheme. It just blows my mind. You don't see us making any intermediate jump shots from 10 to 15 feet ever. We don't even take them.
Yeah. Yeah, they are so dominant in the front court. We've said this from the very beginning.
But it does. I agree. We are dominant, but you don't have anybody could be dominant when you're getting layups and lobs. Is my point. To the moral to the story is he gets so many easy looks for our players.
Yeah,
because the way he designs stuff.
Can't argue with that. That makes sense. Zach, 68-24. Bama loses to Georgia. Cost me some green. I get it, Zach. I hope you had also took the over 179.5. That's kind of how I liked it last night. But I did circle Alabama. I also circled Missouri. Bad mistake there. I liked Kentucky. Wrong. But Tennessee, no problem there. We had the over I liked Alabama over last night. Then we went on this tangent with Cincinnati. Vanderbilt was, let's see, that over with Ole Miss came in. And Auburn.
We got a text here from Robert on the Titan Mart text line. He said, bad night of your picks, JC.
Bad night. Well, yeah, Alabama lost, but I liked Missouri and Kentucky, and they both just flamed out. Missouri, I don't know what happened to them. They looked awful against Oklahoma. Oklahoma's playing better basketball, but their record hurts them. Sure did not like that. The system play from the Luke DeVasta angle went 0-2. he was 40-14 since January. He lost with Alabama and Nebraska last night, but he is now 40-16. So you can't really get mad at Luke. Mississippi State, Florida, 22.5. Really wasn't sure about that, but over 161.5 was just a rocking chair winner. A lot of overs came in. Cincinnati, I do remember talking about Cincinnati last night, so let's not forget about that one. I think they're playing their way into the tournament.
I think they're barely 500.
Yeah, they're something like 16-13, but they've had some really good quality.
They're gonna have to win their tournament.
I don't know, QB. I think the Big 12 is going to surprise you with TCU.
No, the Big 12 is outstanding basketball, but
right.
When you're 16-13, I just have a hard time seeing that.
Well,
it may be a playing game.
We'll just go through some of the teams. I can name 4 that are automatic in the Big 12, and then Cincinnati. Iowa State's automatic, Arizona's automatic, Texas Tech is automatic, and TCU is automatic.
Houston
is 5, and then I think you got to look at. Cincinnati. I think the Big 12 gets more than 5. Is all I'm saying. But Kansas State bad, Baylor not good, UCF not sure about them. BYU took it on the chin badly against Cincinnati. They hurt. They've got a lot of injuries. BYU struggling. So I don't know. I'm gonna just say, even though their record's bad, I think Cincinnati's RPI is pretty good, and I think Cincinnati, the way they're playing here lately, might be a team that gets an at-large. We'll see.
You know who their coach is, JC?
Cincinnati's? No. Maybe I do.
It's not Bob Huggins.
Oh no.
Wes Miller.
Yeah, Bob Huggins. I think
you know where he plays college ball, JC?
Wes Miller. Why would I know that, QB? What?
Carolina.
He played at Carolina. Oh, speaking of Carolina, we had them against Clemson -3, 2.5 last night. So I guess we could say that went well. QB, I got also something I got to bring up since we're just kind of babbling about basketball. And we all know the Gator baseball team's going to be great. And we all know that the SEC is an impossible conference when it comes to baseball, which basically means everybody's going to compete for the championship in the league. But more importantly, there's going to be a bunch of regional hosts coming out of the SEC in baseball. We all know that softball is fantastic. We all know these things. But here's something that you don't know, QB, that should really alarm you. And it's from a white paper put out by the University of Louisville. Okay, this is not just some little five and dime college. The University of Louisville comes out with a white paper basically saying, and it's titled From the Arena, Not the Sidelines. And I recommend everybody Google it and go online and read this, because what they're simply saying is that college athletics is running out of time in terms of the way they run their finances. The Ohio State Athletic Department, okay, won that school in football won the national championship in January of 2025. It was just a year ago. The Ohio State Athletic Department lost $37.7 million in the same fiscal year as they won the national title. The Penn State Athletic Department is the most leveraged public athletic program in the country, holding $534 million in athletic-related debt. Rutgers has accumulated 500, that's the State University of New Jersey, a Big Ten team, a school, accumulated $517 million in total athletic losses by joining the Big Ten in 2014. And Louisville, who generates $1.3 billion annually in economic impact for the city of Louisville, Kentucky, is running a $12.5 million deficit with reserves drawn down from $34 million to $3.4 million. This is not sustainable, QB. And if you're hearing it from these schools, I guarantee it's happening elsewhere. And if these guys don't get collective bargaining, salary caps, and a complete restructuring of the way they run their money, they are going to run out of money in college athletics.
What you want me to do about it?
You need to start saying, okay, so we're going to spend $400 billion on a stadium. How are we going to find it? I mean, there has to be some scrutiny on what college athletics is spending the money on. I think joining these conferences make no sense when you've got Stanford and Cal in the ACC, UCLA and USC, Washington and Oregon.
Well, that's their fault.
I get it, but they can't continue this. So what does the Big Ten do? What does the SEC do? They hire a consulting firm. Let's throw away more money on a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing or talking about. And so now we're going to have Trump bring in 40 people from around the world of athletics, including Condoleezza Rice, didn't know she was an athlete, Bryson DeChambeau, he's a pro golfer he was worth $1 billion on Live, Adam Silver, who's the NBA's commissioner, and a bunch of Tiger Woods is going to be there for a consortium on college athletics. Explain to me why these people are going. All you need are the athletic directors and the commissions of these schools and conferences, QB. QB, this is important. This is your number one thing, college athletics.
Well, I know that, but
I will tell you, when they go bankrupt, you can forget about that cute little golf team we got over there or all these other schools. These programs they've got to get in charge of their finances, because $534 million in hock is not how you run a business. And
well,
you will run out of money.
Nat says that the UAA sits on $1.4 billion in the bank.
No, that might be revenue, but that's not. Maybe that's their reserves from an endowment. I don't know. But all I'm telling you is that if you are running deficits, at some point you are going to run out of money. You can't keep deficit spending. It does not work. I guess I sound like a politician talking about the national debt of this country. But the reality is that when Penn State's running a $500 million deficit, something's wrong, dude. That's a major player in the Big Ten. Ohio State wins the national title and loses money in the same year. Ohio State, bro, I went into their football stadium. They have bathrooms that got troughs in them. It looked like something from the 40s. They've got bench seating around the entire damn place. It sucked, but it's the horseshoe, so it's great, right? Well, it's great for the people who can afford to sit in chairbacks, but for the other 70,000 people,
they still show up.
They still show up, but it's not fun. You don't want. Let me ask you, when was the last time you sat on a bench for 3 hours to watch a football game? Probably never.
I never wanted to do it.
Right. Nobody at
Well,
some
people
point.
show up in the Southeastern Conference and watch their teams.
I know, but dude, they're sitting in obsolete
Right.
facilities.
But
They can't afford to make them better. Is all I'm saying.
well, that's fine. They're still going to
No,
show
I
up
don't
and
think
sit
it's
on the
fine at all.
bleacher.
I think it's a problem. I think it's a real problem. When you're running deficits, it's a problem. And so all I'm saying is that time is running out for these brilliant people who run college athletics to get their shit together and figure out how to stop the bleed, because it's bleeding and it's going to eventually come to a.
All right, UF Gator says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, it's definitely fun. Been sitting on bench seating since 1982.
God bless you, Tony. I mean, if you want to do that, that's good. Enjoy it. But the prices aren't going down. They're just going up.
Oh,
They're just
that's right.
going up.
That's right.
Well, that can't sustain itself, I don't think. I don't think it can. You got 6 home games this year. Economically, the impact on Gainesville probably will be less than it was a year ago. That's not the direction you want to go. You want to go up, not down.
Why do you think that?
Because last year they had 7 home games. 1 home game matters.
Oh, you're yeah. Well, one less game, true. But there's nothing we can do about that. We'll have 7 next year.
Yeah.
All right. Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melon Law, do we sit Hawk on Saturday? He needs to be 100% for this next run. No, I think he'll play. I think they rested the ankle. All right.
Kentucky's struggling. That team last night, I don't know what to say. They're not happy with the guy Pope. They're just not happy. I can see it. They played awful. I mean, Texas A&M is not a team that should run you out of the building, QB. It's not.
Well, when they start hitting their threes and they press you and you turn it over, they can, but they shouldn't. They should not.
No.
I'm telling you, A&M is you talk about buy stock and this, that, and the other. A&M's a team to buy stock in, because when Bucky gets his players in there, a normal basketball team, they're going to be a problem.
But they won't be a problem with a front court, like you also said. And
well, their biggest guy, we talked about this, is like 6'5", JC.
Yeah, so how's that going to help them in the tournament?
I didn't say anything about the tournament. I said in years to come.
Oh, years to come. Okay.
Miapa Latin Cafe, we love Gator basketball so much. Everyone at the O-Dome gets a free empanada when the opposing team misses 2 consecutive free throws in the second half. Tyler says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, this is great listening to y'all. JC is on a rant and QB looks like he could care less.
That's okay. When QB finds out that a lot of these wonderful non-revenue sports go away, he won't like it.
There's nothing I'm going to do about it.
No, I didn't say there was anything you have to do about it. You're not in charge, but the people who are in charge need to get a hold of these finances, man. We've got to figure out some way of collective bargaining. That to me is the biggest stumbling block. If we don't figure that out, this cannot be sustained. Cincinnati is suing this kid named Sorsby, who's playing for Texas Tech, for $1 million. Why? Because he broke a contract by leaving. Texas Tech has decided, you know what? Screw the house settlement and the $20 million that we're supposed to pay. We're going to give one player $6 million. Well, that's great for Texas Tech. They got money. Most of the schools around there and most of the teams they end up playing don't have that kind of money to pay a quarterback $6 million from Cincinnati and then to litigate for him against the University of Cincinnati on a $1 million lawsuit.
Well, it's again, I will say it, and I said it from the day one when NI hit. It's ridiculous, and I can't stand it. All right, Monty in Lynchburg, Virginia, on the Titan Mar text line, I said, did you see Todd Golden talking to Josh Hubbard last night after the game? I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing for the Gators next year.
Great player.
He's really good. He's damn good.
Really.
All right, JC, we got to get to our Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Go check them out at peachlanddental.com. We got Arnie's tournament at Bay Hill, one of the better ones on tour. Usually gives these boys fits, which I like because they usually grow the rough, make tight fairways, and have fast greens. That's what makes these boys struggle.
Big greens too, by the way. They're not small. These are big greens. Some of the biggest ones square footage wise on the tour. However, this can be one of the toughest venues on the tour if they get that rough up, like you said, and that's absolutely the case. That's absolutely the case. What do you like?
I love looking at these comments these folks put on here.
Oh, do you?
All right, JC, you get first pick, I guess. I don't know why, but I'll let you have first pick.
Well, I get first pick because once again I had the highest guy last week. So So let's start this off with a guy who's finished in the top 10 7 times on this course in this tournament that nobody bets on, that will probably get you 25 to 1 or better if you pick him, and that would be the Englishman, Matthew Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
I'm writing him down, QB, before you get on a roll here. Here we go. Okay.
All right. I would like to have
QB, do better on your picks. You kind of
my picks have been outstanding.
You've won once, QB.
But my other guys have been in the top 10 multiple times.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Oh, Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay. Thomas Fleetwood. Okay. I think if this guy just putts, he's going to win 5 tournaments this year. I mean, he's maybe not 5, but he'll win a major. And not only will he win a major, but he'll win other signature events. And if he can make some damn putts, and that's Rory McIlroy. Rory.
I will take Siwoo Kim.
Shocker. Okay.
Love him.
Why do you love him?
Dude, he's like birdie wise, he's like one of the top guys on tour.
You do love him.
And he's like the most likable guy on tour, they say. So that's
yeah. I've heard about that. I mean, I'm staying with the European slant here, and I'm taking Robert McIntyre.
All right. Give me Ludwig Oberg.
Yeah, you pick him every week.
I love him too.
I'm going to take a winner here on tour this year. He won at Pebble Beach. Who am I talking about?
Pebble Beach. I don't remember who won that.
That was only 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You know, Colin Morikawa there, Mr.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, give me I'll take Justin Rose.
Oh, okay. So you have no Americans. I have one American. Do you want to pick one more so you can get an American on the roster?
All right, I'll take an American. Let's see. Let me look at
I'll even let you pick next.
I will take Russell Henley.
He is an American.
Yep, and he hits it straight.
And he really screwed over somebody last year by chipping in on number 16 for Eagle. I remember that vaguely. I'm going to take the guy that had 6 birdies or 7 birdies on the last day of last week's tournament, who I think is playing really well. He's another foreigner, but his name is Nikolai Højgaard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take him because I thought his last round at the Palm Beaches last week was spectacular, and I think he's really got a lot of games. So they're all these guys. This is the best field, one of the best fields you'll have all year long, and it leads you up into the best field that you have in all of the tournaments that are played, which is the TPC.
Yeah.
So that's next week. Bay Hill this week, then they go to Tampa. So they're in Florida for the next rest of this month, basically. And then we start talking about Augusta. So it's a great time of year to watch golf. This is wonderful. I think it's going to be good golf watching this weekend.
Very true. Real estate attorney Michael Snyder, a class of 93 at UF, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by assisting you in selling your home or land by owner without a broker. Contact Michael today at 321-345-7870. JC, on the Titan MR text line, where'd it go? Lynn says, a month ago, no one wanted Condon to touch the ball. I was one of those guys, but the beauty about it is he's doing what he does well. He ain't trying to show the NBA I can do something I can't do.
Yeah.
That has made him a damn good basketball player. And I will argue with anybody till the cows come home that what he was doing at the early at the beginning of the year was just ridiculous and stupid. Do what you do well.
Do what you do well, and he's finding that out and figuring it out, and that's part of the coaching staff too, I think.
I think they told him. I said, "Look, we don't give a damn about the National Basketball Association.
That's right.
You're here to win games for the Gators. Do not attempt a bunch of threes. He shot one last night and missed it, which is okay. One,
yeah.
But take the ball into the restricted area."
Get low.
You will score a bunch of points, and that's what he does.
I like some of these quick messages here on YouTube. I'm going to read them real quick. The the little rant I had about how everybody's going broke in athletics. Bill Peacock. Good job, JC. A lot more important than overs and unders. I guess he doesn't like my gambling, but that's okay, Bill. I appreciate you watching, brother. And I respect your opinion. Michael Schneider, it's capitalism, dude. Some win, some lose. Well, when most lose, then nobody wins. Jason Lamberth, 414. Don't believe everything you read, Johnny. OSU athletics is loaded. It's called reverse marketing. That's fine, but nobody likes losing $34.5 million when you win a national championship. That shouldn't work that way. It should be the opposite. But yeah, they're loaded. They just have a lousy football stadium to sit in. That's all. And most of them don't sit. They stand. You should see the end zone there at the Horseshoe. Everybody, every single person.
I don't think anybody sits at our stadium either. Everybody stands.
Yeah, no, there's no sitting. Maybe they should just take the seats out and just put rails there and everybody just stand up against the rail. I don't know. That's stupid. But I think, listen, I just don't like seeing these reports of how these organizations are operating in the red. That's bad business, and it will catch up with you. It will.
My guess is the Gators are probably not in the red.
Well, I hope not. I don't think Florida spends the same way some of these other schools do. And I'm just saying that off of feeling. I don't know. But their fiscal responsibility here is pretty good. But it's also one of the problems that they had because it was the last school to upgrade the facilities for football and basically for baseball. And that wasn't well done. But it's now well done because it's done. And it did hurt Florida. It did hurt when Foley was talking about we're not getting into an arms race. That hurt Florida. And football, let me tell you, folks, I don't know about you, but 2008 was a hell of a long time ago. A hell of a long time ago. What is in 2008, QB? You know what 2008 was. It was the last time that the football team won the SEC. That's a long damn time ago. And I think the problem is that they were slow to the football facility venue type of issues that we've all just basically worn out beyond contempt. But yes, MSRK Koepka is starting to play better. He's making some putts. Watch out for him. He's going to be a threat in these majors this year. He always is because he's just that good in the majors for whatever reason. He's better in the majors than he is in these other ones. Captain Trash says, let's get Shane to sit in the bleachers for one game next year. Well, he's working there, Captain Trash, but I hear you. He would hate it. He absolutely would.
You don't have to tell me. I've done it, and I can't stand it. That's why I'm going to go to a game. I would never go to a game.
I get it.
I don't like it because I can't watch the game the way I want to watch it in the stadium.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. You like being high up.
I'd rather watch it on TV.
On TV?
Because
okay.
Because of the way I watch a game.
But when you watch the game in the booth, when you're talking about it.
But I have a monitor going right here, JC.
Yeah.
I'm looking, a lot of times I don't even watch the live action. It's live, but it's on the monitor. I'm watching the monitor most of the time.
Okay. Well, you're an analyst, QB.
Yes, I'm an analyst.
You are. You're a color commentating analyst.
Yep. And having said that, we're going to let Scott Carter analyze what he saw at Gator spring football practice. JC, have a great day. We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, we got you. All right.
Let's JC join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout. We'll come back. We'll get Scott Carter's thoughts of day one under John Summerall and other Gator athletics. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Linderos Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Comfort Temp, Florida Cracker Oyster, Electronics World, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, MG&A Wealth. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, call my man Freddie, 352-284-3733.
Naysayers, setbacks, injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Coach, you know what always impressed me? How you beat Florida State to win the 1996 National Championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Landeros tequila. Aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Landeros tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Landeros.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering.
Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
Ever dreamed of catching a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Warfel, or taking a handoff from the legendary Steve Spurrier? Then you need to join the Florida Legends experience on Monday, March 30th at the Alachua County at Celebration Point. You'll receive a personal video of your touchdown and a football signed by the Gator Legends. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be a part of Gator history.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios, Castaway Hot Sauce Company from Mile to Wild. They have a flavor for every Gator fan, available at your local Publix, CastawaySauceCompany.com. Also, don't forget 3 Heismans, 2 events, 1 legendary day. Join Steve Spurrier, Danny Werfel, Tim Tebow Monday, March 30th at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill for the Florida Legends Gala and Experience. Visit FLLegends.com for your tickets and sponsorship information. This guy's a legend. Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. What's up?
Hey, Shane, I don't know about that, but I did see 2 of those Heisman winners yesterday. It's called Danny Warfel practice and Steve Spurrier briefly in the office. So I don't know if I quite fit in that category.
That's right. All right, Scott, let's talk. I want to talk spring football. You went out for day 1. And I want, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to practice in the mornings all spring and in the fall,
Yep.
right?
That is the word. And, you know, I remember early on in this off-season workouts, just having some conversations with players, and everyone I talk to, man, they love it because, you know, they get them fresh and before their day gets going, so they get their workouts in, and then they can carry on with the rest of the day. I'm hearing from coaches, some of the guys, since they're starting early, they'll come back and do some whatever film study or more workouts later in the day because, you know, they've got their other stuff taken care of. So I don't, you know, it seems to be something that Summerall's done in the past and has been well received with the players from what I've heard.
Yeah, I think it's a good deal. They get it over with and then have other things to do during the day. All right, so what did you see in day 1? I mean, are we going to win the national title, Scott? What's going on?
Well, you know, Shane, I'm not ready to go that far, man. But I tweeted this yesterday. You never know what's going to get a lot of attention on Twitter. Sometimes something takes off that you don't expect. I just tweeted basically, it felt like the program had a personality transplant. And what I mean by that, I mean, you know how it is. You've been around. Anytime a new coach comes in, there's renewed energy. There's excitement. It was the same way for Billy Napier, for Dan Mullen, for all these coaches in my time around here. Yet, I think what Summerall has done, I mean, he's just a guy, and we've talked about this. He's got a different kind of energy about him, and you just can't help but get impacted by it. And I'm sitting there watching practice yesterday on the sideline, and all his coaches, I mean, they're kind of a reflection of him. And these guys are high energy, running around. The players are running around like I haven't seen in quite a while, just from station to station. And I mean, I knew Buster Faulkner, the offensive coordinator. I knew after talking to him a couple of times, this guy is going to bring the fire every day. And I saw it yesterday for the first time on the practice field. He's a guy. He is intense. He was coaching those quarterbacks hard, and he demands excellence. And it was a different vibe out there. And like I said, it's something that I think the program needed, but it was more of a change than just your average coaching change prompts, you know?
Yeah, and again, I'm going to try to go to some practices, but being in the morning is going to be tough. Maybe we'll do a show live from there. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the thing that stands out to me, having talked to these guys, is everybody's going to be accountable. There's no coddling anybody. They don't give a damn who you are, what you've done. You're going to have to earn playing time, and they're going to coach their best players on the team extremely hard. And that's the way it should be. That's what excites me, because then these dudes are going to go out and lay it on the line, and we're going to have the best chance of winning because we have our best players in each position playing in the damn football game. That's what I've taken out of this staff.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's a holistic approach. John Summerall yesterday during his press conference after practice, someone asked him, because he was bouncing around the whole field, man. I mean, he was with the offense, he was with the linebackers, he was with the special teams, he was with the defensive line. It was hard to keep track of him. Sometimes you're looking out there and, hey, where's the head coach? He was all over the place. And he said, look, my job is to talk to every player almost every day at practice. And he says, I don't get to every one of them every day, but that's the goal. And that's his approach. It always has been. And that when your head coach is bouncing around like that and making sure you're being accountable for every practice rep, that reflects well, and it creates an urgency that, quite frankly, I think is needed with the program, and it has been missing a little bit since the NIL era started. And I think this guy is that's his approach. I think he hired assistant coaches who are similar to him in some ways, and he brought some with Tulane. He hired others from the outside, so it's a good mix of coaches over there. But it all goes back to what he said. You've got to have a great teams. He's used this quote many times. Are always going to be player-led and holding each other accountable. And I think that's the culture that he's established in the off-season workouts with the help of his assistants, and of course Rusty Witt, the director of strength and conditioning, who, he was bouncing around too yesterday, and it was there was a lot of energy out there, Shane. I mean, you may have wanted to jump out there and take a pass, man.
Text here on the Titanmore text line from Daryl. He says, does our O-line finally look like an SEC O-line? Now, I know it's hard to tell. I mean, they're in shorts and T-shirt or jerseys, but did you happen to glance over there at the O-line at all?
I mean, I did. There's a lot of new pieces there. You could say, does it look like an SEC O-line? I mean, I did see some big bodies, but it's too early to really gauge that, because even talking to Witt, he said that, they're at a point where they feel comfortable starting spring camp after the off-season conditioning. He says they're nowhere near what they expect by the time the first game rolls around. So there's still a lot of work in just conditioning and weightlifting, and but you got the guys you notice, like TJ Shanahan, the kid from Penn State. I mean, he's a big guy, has played, and some of the young guys, the freshmen, are big, and so yeah, we'll see. I think it's always going to be a work in progress. So when you lose the core of that line and you're rebuilding it.
Andy's question for you on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. will Dallas Wilson sit out all spring, and how confident are we that he will be 100% and available for game 1?
I'm sorry, who'd you ask about?
Dallas Wilson.
Oh, Dallas Wilson. Well, I think right now they're very confident. I mean, John Summerall said yesterday that, if they had a game this week, he would play. I think with what they've done with him, they're trying to take all the precautions because they know what he adds to the team. And they saw where maybe he wasn't quite ready, I guess maybe last year when he did play, although he had a great game in his debut, he got hurt right back and would miss some time. So I think they're just trying to take every precaution they can. They know what kind of a player Dallas is, so there's not a question there of his talent. But he made it sound like they're very confident that he'll be healthy by the season. But those things are, I mean, so cliche. They really are day to day. I mean, you know how injuries are, man. You just never know. But I don't think they have any concerns right now with where he is, other than just making sure he's 100%.
Bob on the Titan MR text line says, Scott, did anybody stand out in day 1 to you?
I spent a lot of my time watching the quarterbacks because that's just what I wanted to see whenever there's competition. And both guys had their moments. I do say I love the way the ball comes out of Tramel Jones' hand. I mean, he threw some really nice passes. I think Philo, I heard just from him, he's a guy who really evidently is really good when the lights come on. So, that was my first time really seeing him, and I was watching him. Yeah, he had some nice throws too. The young tight end, Heisey, my roster, I don't have it in front of me, but number 86, I mean, he was a big dude who just stood out physically.
The 300 pounder guy?
Yeah. Every time I was walking down the sideline yesterday, I heard like 2 or 3 people, man, check out that guy. And I'm like, whoa, he is big. So he caught everybody's attention just from his size alone. It looks like a classic blocking tight end to me, but if he can catch, man, that's a bonus. But yeah, it's just too early, Shane, on day 1 to say anybody really stood out. I mean, Rusty Witt was talking about Laganza Hayward, defensive back, about his weightlifting in the offseason, said he wasn't throwing shade at anybody, but this guy's probably the strongest defensive back pound for pound in the SEC. So I'll be watching him tomorrow just to get a better idea of what it looks like on the field. And a lot of the coaches afterward, Kanye Clark, the transfer from UCLA, he's gotten a lot of, pub since he got here. So I did take a look at him. He looks small, but he's really, really quick and evidently has some natural leadership skills. And I keep hearing his name pop up. So they're obviously high on what he brings to the team.
Yeah, the tight end deal, that big guy, is going to be interesting. I personally don't think he can play tight end in the SEC. I think this is one of those deals where they said, okay, we're going to let you come in as a tight end. If he really wants to be dominant, and I don't know how physical he is, he needs to put his hand on the ground and play tackle. Because I was with the guy that played tight end. He signed as a free agent with the Buffalo Bills out of Arkansas. His name was Jason Peters. He was about this dude's size, about 285, 300 pounds. They let him run some routes for about 2 weeks, and then they put him at left tackle, and I think he's still playing. He will be a Hall of Famer. I don't know if this guy's that kind of guy, but I just think 300 something pounds is way too big. He ain't gonna be quick enough. Hope he proves me wrong, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay.
6'3", 13.
Yeah. I just don't see how you're going to get open doing that, especially in the Southeastern Conference. Hope I'm wrong, but we'll see. JB says both QBs are a little short and arm strength isn't that impressive just from first glance. I don't know their heights. I want to say Philo's 6'2", if I'm not mistaken. What is he listed as? Do you know?
I'm looking right now. I don't have all this stuff memorized yet because I've been bouncing around, but he's 6'1", 208.
Yeah. He's taller than Rhett.
Tramel, 6 foot, 199. So yeah, I mean, neither guy is much above 6 foot. But
they throw the ball well enough, and they throw completions, and they throw catchable balls. So they have plenty of arm strength to play. They have better arms than me and Danny. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. Changing gears real quick, Dan wants to know, Scott, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, can gymnastics do something about vault this late in the season?
That is kind of the $1,000,000 question that I think is going to determine a lot of their postseason chances. They haven't been as consistent there as they want to be. And, it's cost them out in Fort Worth before. So they've got a big meet on Sunday against LSU. It's a great barometer moment for the program. And as they start, the SEC championships and then the NCAAs after that. So we'll see. I don't know lineup wise if there's any changes being considered there, or I think it's just really a matter of, it's about all sticking the landings. I mean, in gymnastics, in that event, if you're sticking to the landings, you're gonna get good scores, can put Florida where it needs to be, but you gotta do it in the moment. So we'll see, but it certainly has been kind of a thorn in their side this season.
Back to football, a couple questions here. Large Fry on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says, does Singleton seem to be on a different level than the other wide receivers? Scott, I think the world of this guy. I think he is dynamic, Eric Singleton. And then someone also wants to know about Bailey Stockton. Did he stand out at all? I think both of them are going to be very crucial to the offense this year.
Yeah, you talked to Singleton, and somebody asked earlier, did anybody stand out, or I did watch him a little bit because you can tell he's physically advanced a little more, a little older guy. He does look like a very good player who's going to contribute and have a lot of opportunity in the passing game. But I think he's athletic enough where you could use him in a lot of different ways. Maybe a run here and there. But, yeah, he's going to be good. Bailey Stockton, I didn't really get a chance to look at him too much. I know that they really like him. He's here for a reason. He obviously knows the offense that Buster Faulkner installed. So he's a guy that I could easily see. I look at a lot of receivers. This to me is one of the strengths of the team, Shane, is that receivers group. And that's saying something even when you lose a guy like Trey Wilson. And it really, I don't really think it's a loss. I mean, I think they're going to be fine there, if not better as a group, because they added some depth and they had a high-end talent guy like Singleton. So I like that position group.
Yeah, I do too. MSRK on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Is Will Griffin in the mix for QB, or will he sit this year?
Well, I think the general consensus is that, he probably is going to sit. But, I've seen this, there's nothing there at quarterback where you can say, well, this is what it's going to be come fall. Everybody right now assumes it's a battle between Philo and Tramel Jones. And on paper, I think that is. But, Summerall was asked specifically about Will Griffin yesterday. And he said, look, man, this guy, he's got a big arm. Speaking of big arms, I think he might have the biggest arm of the bunch. But he's got a lot to learn. He just got here. He said getting here mid-year obviously speeds up the curve for him. Can he advance enough to get in there and compete for the job? I'm not ruling anything out of the realm of possibility because, as both of us know, sometimes the quarterback battles turn out different than we expect, right?
That is very, very true. All right, before we let you go, Scott, time goes by fast. Baseball, they've won every game since the opener. What have you seen from this team that you like?
Pretty much everything, Shane. I mean, I was over there last night. I thought they pitched one of their best games as a staff. They got the shutout over FAU. Stole some bases last night. Had a double steal that sparked a couple of runs. Brandon Lawson looks to me like a future major leaguer that is going to have a long career at that level. And right now he's having a tremendous college season, hit a home run last night. And they've won 12 in a row since that season opening loss. And I see just from Sully what he was saying after the game last night, if there's one area that they would like to bolster, they'd like to get another left-hander in the bullpen going besides, I always mispronounce his name, Lugo Conchala, the kid who transferred from a Division II school. We wrote about him last week. Very interesting story. been pitching really well. But yeah, you look at it, they've got good starting pitching right now. The bullpen's coming along, a lot of these young arms, and the lineup's hitting. So you play good defense and do all those other things I just mentioned, you're going to win a lot of games. And I think, going into the season, a lot of people weren't sure where they would land nationally. I think they're starting to get attention that, don't forget about Florida. And that's just what happens when you win 12 in a row, right?
Yeah, there's no question. It's still early in the season, and once it ramps up once you get into SEC play. But is Sully more laid back now, or still have very, very intense?
I mean, he's Sully, but I do see a little bit more. I don't know if it's laid back or just calmer approach. But again, everything's going well right now. And they're winning, so he hasn't had much to get too upset about. So we'll see how that goes. But I think when you go through something like he did in the off season, it's certainly going to force you to reevaluate some things in your life and maybe the way you approach your job. And I think he's done that. So so far so good, and hopefully for him, he continues to have that kind of success and that whatever it is he was looking for that was missing when he took his leave.
Yeah. All right. Last thing, text here from William on the Titan Mark text line. Scott, do you think Ava Brown will be back this year?
Well, in her message yesterday, she seemed like there was a chance. It was hopeful. So I don't have any insider knowledge on that or anything. I don't know. It sounds like there's a possibility. Obviously, whatever it is, it's a serious injury. It's going to keep her out for a while. But if they can continue to play well and hold the fort down until later in the season and she gets back, that certainly will be a plus. But it was unfortunate, that one of their best players, goes down and is going to miss some time. But I'd like to see her get back out there.
Yep, no doubt. Scott, good stuff as always. You got any good stuff you're writing about? People can go check it out.
Yeah, just everything's on the website, but I'm writing today just a column. Actually, I'm writing it right now, just kind of on some of the mood yesterday and some of the freshness. And that was, to me, beyond everything else, that was what stuck out to me the most in the big picture. This program it's got a personality change, and we got to see it for the first time at a practice yesterday.
Good stuff as always. You can follow Scott on Twitter at Gators Scott. Scott, appreciate your time, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
See you soon.
That's Scott Carter. Join us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Gallo Car Wash is locally owned by UF alum and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Locations on Northwest 13th Street, Wilson Road. Coming soon to Jonesville and the city of Alachua. Appreciate Scott and JC. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care.